What's up, everybody? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we do always start the show by being transparent. And yesterday ended up being another good day. Had the under in the Nuggets and Timberwolves game, easy cash. So that makes it now 8-1 for the NBA playoffs. Try to keep it going. Vino, always good to be back with you. How's everything on your end?
Well, that wasn't great. Yesterday, Ski, being transparent isn't hard for me because I had no plays. So you do nothing, you have nothing to report. But tonight we are back in action. 6-4 overall in the playoffs. Quick math once again in my head. Riding the coattails of your 8-1, that would put us 14-5 since the playoffs started Saturday. Which again, if you're involved, you're doing well. You're doing really well if you're involved with Ski right now. Let's see if we can make a little more money today.
Let's keep it going. We have three games to talk about. We will start at the top. Nobody in the chat yet. They used to starting a little bit later.
You threw him off guard today, boy.
All right, Celtics and Sixers. This one opened 7.5. That's what it looks like right now. Total came down slightly from 216. Bear with me because my injury report stuff is a little messed up. I don't think it's anything significant really in this game anyway. Sixers did get the W last game as a double-digit underdog. Um, Now it's a chance for the Celtics to come and respond. I mean, the Celtics have been pretty good. Like they've been pretty poor in game twos and then pretty good, like, you know, over the past 4 or 5 years, pretty good responding in game three. And I think that's what we'll get here. The Celtics are the clear better team. I think they should flex on the Sixers, and I think that they'll do it defensively. Also, I mean, I talked a lot. I had the under in game two. The Sixers have been a good defense as well. I mean, it's been the offense that's been lacking. So I think this is Celtics or under. What do you think, Vino?
I definitely think the Celtics, and I think your point about them, game two, game three, it has occurred quite a bit, right? It's almost like they have these playoff series at home because they always have a really good record, and they come out with a first game blowout and then kind of let up in game two. And that's what we saw the other night against Philly. They allowed Philly to do whatever they wanted offensively. I think Boston's good in a lot of ways here. I think they're good first half. I think they're good full game. I do think they'll come out of the gates quickly in this one. Couple of things to look at here. I like what you said about defense because I guarantee that Jalen Brown and Derek White take it personal that VJ Edgecombe and Tyrese Maxey had 59 combined against those two. Those are two of the best defensive guards, and maybe you could argue the best defensive guard tandem in the league, Brown and White. And they just got lit up the other night by Edgecombe and Maxey. You add to it what Paul George did against Tatum, who's the third best defender on the team, or he's in the top three. I think all three of those guys look to lock Philadelphia shooters down tonight. On the other side of that coin, Ski, there's just no way. They're 13 of 50 from three the other night, the Celtics are. And when the Celtics go cold like that, it's got to be just about everybody going cold. I don't think you could ask Sam Hauser to be 2 for 8 again. I don't think you could ask Jason Tatum to be 2 for 8 again. Derek White 2 for 10. Vucevic 1 for 4. Peyton Pritchard 0 for 4. Those five guys, the only guy who can shoot threes that shot him fairly well was Jalen Brown. Otherwise, 5 of their 6 top 3-point shooters went ice cold. And I just don't see that happening again. I mean, 2 or 3 of these guys are going to come back tonight and make threes. So, again, I think Boston's good in a lot of ways here. They're one of the highest scoring first half teams on the road this year. I think they averaged just a shade under 60 a game. It was good for fifth in the NBA this season on the road. So road venues don't bother them. Philadelphia Friday night. I live right here. It's going to be electric in there, but that stuff always wears off, Ski, and talent rises up. And I just think Boston's got that going for them tonight. And game threes are always kind of that seesaw type game. You want to shift the series back to your advantage. I think Boston, I think you hit it on the head when you said they're clearly the better team. I think they get it done here tonight on both ends, offensively and defensively.
All right, next we have Lakers and Rockets. And right around the opener for this game as well. You know, I think KD is questionable. I'm pretty sure they said Reed Shepard is going to get more minutes in this game, and that's a big difference. That's a big deal to me. I mean, this Rockets team can't shoot. You got these guys out there, and you want to leave Reed Shepard on the bench, the main guy who can help spread the floor. I mean, if you look at what the Rockets did down the stretch of the season, yes, the competition level wasn't the greatest, but still, they were on like an eight something game win streak, and going over the team total every night. That how do I say that coincided with Reed Shepard getting put into the starting lineup. So I don't know what Ime, is thinking, taking away all his minutes. They clearly need it, and he said they'll get more of this game. So that if you like the Rockets, that's something you would like to hear. If you like an over, that's something you would like to hear. Those are the two directions I would look. Maybe Rockets team total over. The Lakers, I feel like they did what they had to do. Now just really biding time for Reeves or Luca to come back. What do you think here? Lakers and Rockets.
It's interesting to note the contrast between statistical stuff here, Ski. Houston's put up 94 and 98 points in 2 games against the Lakers. Yet so far in the playoffs, they're the fastest paced team in the playoffs as far as quickest shot goes. They shoot the ball every 11.2 seconds. It's the fastest of all the teams in the playoffs so far. Lakers take the longest to shoot it, 14.6. I think for the Lakers, that's by design. And of course, some of that has to do with Houston being a pretty good defensive team. But the Lakers without Luca and Austin Reeves have chosen to be much more methodical in their offense, and it's worked through 2 games. Yesterday, when we talked about Atlanta and New York, I didn't play the game, but I just had a feeling that the total had come down far enough to where you could get an over in that series, and we did in game 3. And I feel that same way about this one. I feel like this number is now down low enough. The Lakers team total is 98.5 tonight, just to show you how far down this series has come. I think Houston will play with pace. Obviously, if Reed Shepard's in there, as you mentioned, they're going to play with more pace. Feel like at home they'll make more shots. I have to admit, where side is concerned, when I saw this line reach 10.5 yesterday, I thought, what are we doing here? 10.5, Houston? That can't even be possible. It's come down since, mostly due to the Kevin Durant, questionable injury news. But Austin Reeves has been pushed up to questionable as well. You could get Austin Reeves here. And if you do, it's certainly, I know it's his first game back in a while, but I would think it helps your point scoring chances for LA. He puts another threat on the floor. So for me, if I play this game, it's going to be over. I don't have, even though Houston needs the game badly, it's just not in me to lay this amount of points with them right now, the way they're playing. So I think we'll probably get a higher scoring game. And again, I've said this before during the playoffs, this play is dictated really by the number here. The number at 206.5, I think, is just attackable. And so I'll probably try it over.
There's one comment here, Tommy. I just would recommend that if you like the Rockets to cover, the Rockets team total over, you should not bet the full game under. You should bet Lakers team total under. You don't want to be sweating, you're wanting the Rockets to score, but you want the full game to stay under. I just think that's the better way to do it. All right, get over to this last game. That is Spurs and Blazers. And for this one, it opened -3. We see 2.5. Total came down from 220.5 as low as 218.5. Wimby, I know he had his concussion. I don't think he's out there tonight. Um, I've seen this Spurs team play a lot of games without Wimby. They're still more than capable of winning games. It's not ideal versus a team with size like the Blazers, but I think the Spurs are still capable of winning this game. What do you think, Vino?
Well, I hope they are. I need them to win 3 straight to cash a ticket here on the series going under 5.5 games. Now, me just saying that I hope they are. They had that game the other night pretty much wrapped up 14-point lead with about 6 minutes left. Somehow they let it slip away. I don't know if they let off the gas or what, but they did get outscored 27-10 in the final six plus minutes of that game. And I'm sitting there watching it, and I wasn't ever fearful. Skee. I'm like, yeah, so Portland cut it to 8. Yeah, so what? Portland cut it to 5. There was generally always a San Antonio response with a bucket until there wasn't. Once I think it was Robert Williams had that dunk and a foul and one, and Portland went ahead. That San Antonio couldn't respond on the other end. So I think they can win, like you say. They're a team that's not going to be, in awe of the venue, although Portland will be a crazy environment. I was looking at props here if Wembanyama doesn't play, and Luke Cornett, the next big up in line, has played um, has been very good in this series. He had 10 points, 9 boards, or 9 points, 10 boards. His points rebounds were 19 the other night. Um, I think you even threw me off a little bit because I didn't look up the total on that. But if Luke Cornett's number is around 15 and a half, or 16 or something, I think he can probably get over. I was going to look towards Keldon Johnson, some of these reserves that San Antonio has, but he just didn't get enough minutes. So perhaps Devin Vassell, somebody's got to step up and score those points. And I think Luke Kennard, or excuse me, not Luke Kennard, but
Cornette.
Luke Cornett is probably, yeah, LK, same initials. I think he's probably the guy you're looking at here from the San Antonio perspective.
I can't talk you off of that. Um, It's a lot of different ways to look at this game. Maybe props are the way, especially it's a lot of usage going around with that Wemby out there for the Spurs. So got to be a way to take advantage. But that'll wrap up the show, the games for today. And before we do a little bit of promo, I appreciate this. I guess this can be part of promo. Shout out to Jay Cash says up 4K with Ski during the playoffs. He says I know Ski and I purchased his package. Appreciate the support and glad we can make some money, Jay. Let's keep it going. And on that note, let's go ahead and do some of that good old promo. We do have, I'm gonna do the usuals, the 3 day buy three, get three free comes out to 6 days for just $69. Good way to check us out for about a week if you want to check either Rob or myself out. If you say, why choose, we should have both. We'll go with double the NBA court vision, 3 days for $59. You'll get good old 45 and 23. And we've been winning pretty much every day. One of us covers the other. So it's a good way to check us both out for 3 days there and see if you want to be involved for a longer period. Vino, I'm going to pass it to you for best bet. If you have one, we love to hear it. If you don't, it's all good. And if there's anything else you would like to promote, feel free.
Yeah, I got no problem leaving one tonight, Ski, because I am in action. Strongest play is up at wagertalk.com, but I have multiple plays up, and I'll leave one client release for the audience here, which is Boston full game minus 7.5. We discussed it, Ski. I just think that Boston comes out here. 5 of their 6 3-point shooters, percentages would tell me that they're all not going to go cold again all at once. So get a little bit of 3-point shooting here. We get that defense that's a little bit angry at being abused the other night by Philly. 62 first half points, big play out of that Philly backcourt. I think the response comes on both ends. So Boston will be my best bet here, minus 7.5 full game.
Good stuff from Vino and for myself. Hey, man, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I'm not trying to do too much, man. I got one play for the night. It's my 5% play, and I can't give it out for the reasons we've already talked about on this show and in recent shows. So Vino has us covered for best bet for today. And yeah, that's how we'll end the show. Vino, I always appreciate you taking the time to cap the games with me. Helps my process. I'm sure it helps everybody else as well. Chat, we appreciate you guys. Great insight, great vibes. And, the show, you guys help make the show what it is. So always want to let you know you're appreciated. Best of luck on your action over the weekend. Vino and myself will be back on Monday, and we will catch you all then.